Welcome to Unity Charlotte, where our mission is to nurture a deep and mature experience of God through the practice of unity principles. Simply put, we are here to love, grow, and serve. I'm Reverend Pat Dre, and I'm so glad you chose to be with us today here on Zoom. And everything's working beautifully. So happy for that. So let's start today's service by sharing our statement of oneness, and let that lead into our opening prayer. Together, say with me, there is one presence and one power in my life and in the universe, God, the good omnipotent. And take a breath and join me in prayer, knowing that there is only one, and that one is within. And this is the place of peace, of joy, of safety, of harmony, and being heard, and my place of listening. And today I listen carefully, because I know that in this somewhat challenging time, I am given everything I need in abundance. There can be no scarcity where it resides. And where it resides is right here, right now, and right in this place. And from this safe and secure place, I open up to love, to good, to wisdom, and to the expansion of my awareness of who I am. And that is a joy to me. And in deepest gratitude for this beautiful church, this congregation, this circle of beloveds, I delight in being part of this moment. I delight in my soul experiencing this fullness. And I know that all is well as I step forward in deep listening today and in deep participation, because we are hearts gathered together. And so it is. Amen. Thank you again for joining us on Zoom. You are invited to subscribe to our talks and to like the Unity of Charlotte on the YouTube channel. And that'll help you and others stay connected. And we look forward to seeing you in live as soon as it's possible and practical for all of us. But remember, we're always connected, no matter how we manage that connection. Thank goodness for technology. During normal Sundays, we do have a program for children, and we look forward to opening that up again. And if you or anyone you know is in need of prayer, you can place a prayer request through our website, unityofcharlotte.org. Our prayer team is ready to join with you in holding you and your loved ones in prayer. You can also call Unity's telephone prayer ministry, Silent Unity, at any time, day or night. Just dial 800-NOW-PRAY, NOWPRAY, for personal affirmative prayer. Now for our announcements, we want you to know that some people have been asking for copies of our newsletter or the Zoom link. And we have many people on our connection list. If you are not receiving those, please go to our link on the web page, or go to Unity of Charlotte, info@unityofcharlotte.org. Those are places where you can sign up, and do that right now. I've been hearing a little bit of the happy chatter going on, and people needing this information and needing to get connected. So please do it. We want to be sending you our current information. And now join with me in our monthly affirmation for May. With God as my guide, I am destined to thrive. Alone I may seem powerless and lacking, but united with my Creator, my potential is limitless. I welcome divine mind into my mind and know, with God as my guide, I am destined to thrive. And now we will move into meditation. So please get yourself calm and peaceful, and put your feet on the floor, which will be very helpful to you. And take a deep breath in and let it out. This is the beginning of any peaceful, calm approach. Breathing in and breathing out, and knowing that all is well, right here and right now. And I start with moving to the heart center. The heart center, which is the place between your shoulder blades. And notice the light, and notice the room. Breathing in and breathing out. Focus on that beautiful heart center. And notice. Notice the peace and the calm that accompany this. And breathing in and breathing out, raise that light and that warmth to that center space in your brain, in the upper part of your body. And feel it there. And notice. Notice. And now allow it to radiate out of the upper part of your body, of your head. And know that it moves out in rays of light. And notice the warm feeling within you as you do this. And allow those rays of light to go out to all the people present right now in this lovely unity circle. And know that you are truly connected, heart to heart, mind to mind. And picture that circle widening out. Picture that circle embracing all of the unity congregation, these beautiful souls, and connect again, heart and mind. Allow love to radiate out, 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 out. into that circle. And now allow that circle to expand to all the souls who have been affected by the COVID-19 throughout the United States and beyond. To our beloveds around the globe, sending them love and warmth and light and the reassurance of the heart that we have because we live in the midst of the room. And know that the light that we have in this circle touches and reassures hearts around the globe. And take a moment to just rest in that place, sending out that beautiful energy. And now, send your light out to all the people immediately affected by the situation in Minnesota. Use healing rays, touch hearts, touch souls, calm fears, remind people that we are listening, that we have heard their anger and their sadness and their grief. Send out those healing rays. And now spread those healing rays. People throughout the United States who are affected, deeply affected, and allow those rays to go out. On those rays, love, caring, connection, hearing the cries, the fears, the sadness, and letting the love soothe all. And from this important place, allow a minute to continue to send your love and healing rays. Your love is profoundly powerful. Our love is profoundly powerful. And all of it comes from the one that knows no difficulty, the one that knows just itself in perfect perfection and flowing in and through us. And so, allow gratitude to flow into your hearts. Gratitude for being on earth at this important time, this pivotal time. We all chose to be here. We all chose to be here together. I'm grateful for that. And I allow myself to remain in this place of gratitude, of peace and power as we move forward with this beautiful morning together. And take a deep breath. Let it go. And give yourself a moment or two to come back in this centered space. Welcome and welcome back. Welcome to our sacred space today. Wherever you are, it's sacred. And wherever I am, it is sacred. Today my talk is about prosperity in the time of COVID. It's really my new definition, and the focus of my prosperity consciousness has shifted over the last 4 months. Perhaps yours has as well. You know, what a week it has been. An amazing week. A challenging week. Yes, we've been coping with COVID-19 and all that that means. And now we have experienced this Minneapolis situation, followed by deep reactions in many U.S. cities. But all of us have been tuned in. And we tune in even more today to know about our ability to heal all things as the true healing powers of the One flow through us. Now, I've had time to think over the past few months about a lot of aspects of my quality life, my prosperity. You know, I've already been blessed with a great retirement with my husband of 45 years. And I laughingly say that he's a lot older than I am, and he retired a while ago and left me to figure out the retirement plans. But it was okay because I was capable. And I took it on as a spiritual endeavor. And we do have a very good life. As a matter of fact, I will share with you that when I first moved into this teaching officially, although I had been studying it for quite a few years before, this is so 2 decades ago, I'd say, that I officially became affiliated with a like-minded church. That my initial issue was prosperity. I was unemployed. Now, as a nurse, that's pretty hard to do. But I was unemployed, and I was eager to use the teaching, and I did. And literally, within 3 days of getting somebody to pray for me and focusing on the prosperity teaching that we have, I was blessed with a good job, that led to a wonderful job, that then led to the work of my dreams. And all has been well. And there's one way to capture somebody in this teaching. Reach out and give them the tools to solve the problem that is aching in their heart. And that's what I received. And that also made me want to learn more and be a part of other people's lives, to help them do the same for themselves. So how has my prosperity thinking changed in the last 4 months? Well, instead of worrying about money and things that I own and getting more things, I've shifted to joy. I want joy. In fact, joy to be infused in my every moment of my day. That's where I am. How am I doing? Pretty darn well. Pretty darn well. And I'm going to tell you 3 things today that have been very important to me in this endeavor. Now, I do know that for each one of you, you're going to have your own definition of prosperity at this point in time. And I encourage you to define it for yourself. The 3 components that I've been focusing on, and they have particular relevance to this unique time in history, are the following: inner peace, connection, and expansion. So let's talk a little bit about inner peace. You know, it's a very important aspect of manifesting anything. Bring yourself to a place of peace, a place where you can be calm. And I think it's particularly relevant because we have seen things and experienced things in the last 4 months that we really never wrapped our minds around. At least I never wrapped my mind around it. And I've been very familiar with epidemics in my career. But wrapping your mind around something that's in the middle of your experience right now takes some pretty important tactics. So how do we do this? We do it through prayer and meditation. And you're all saying right now, I know that. Yes, we know it. And as we continue to apply the deep lessons of our teaching, we continue to use what we know in deeper, better, and more profound ways. And this has been required of me as well. Myrtle Fillmore tells us to pray to the God within, that it is the God that is in the midst of us that frees and heals. And oh, is that a message? Hour in, hour out of every day of our lives now. She says prayers aren't sent out at all, that the God is within, because where would you send your prayers? I mean, there is no place to send them. That is an old idea from the early years of my Catholic upbringing, to send the prayers up there. What an important thing for me to learn, that there is no distance, that it's right here, right now. And as Myrtle says to us, direct your prayers into your mind, your hearts, and your affairs. And visualize that wholeness into every part of your body temple. Now, I have realized some practicalities in using prayer and meditation in dealing with real life situations, many as have you. But what I'd like to do today is to share a story of a very fear-laden situation that involved my son a number of years ago when he was in his early 20s. Now, I say that with a smile on my face because I often say to people, I haven't cried since I had teenagers. So, when my son was in his early 20s, there were lots of prayers for his safety, but there's a particular story I want to share with you. I was out doing my walking meditation in the morning, which had been my practice for a number of years. And in the midst of this very calm meditation, I felt an incredible wave of fear come over me. It was out of nowhere. I kept thinking, where did this come from? But this picture flashed in front of me of my son being involved in a terrible, terrible car accident. It was so real to me, I could barely breathe. I was panic-stricken. I felt totally helpless. I wanted to turn around and run home. But I paused for a moment. I'd never experienced this before, thank goodness. I never had anything exactly like it again. Well, what could I do? So I decided to continue my meditation and continue to pray. And my prayer went like this. I know that where I am is a sacred space. I know that you, God, are right here with me. I know that you hear my prayer. I know that my son is fine. I know that no harm comes to him. I know this to be the truth. I see him smiling. I see him fine. I see him healthy, happy. I see him whole and complete. I see him with a bright, bright future in front of him. And I kept that up for quite a long time. I didn't stop. I didn't stop until I felt completely calm and peaceful. It took a while. And so that terrible dread and this horrible picture was finally replaced with peace and calm and harmony. And that was the moment when I turned around and I walked home. And actually, I kind of forgot about it then. I just kind of let it go. Which is what a perfect prayer does for you. Sometimes you can do it, and sometimes you have to work real hard at it. So a couple of days later, I was at work. I was in the middle of the day. I could picture myself sitting at my desk, and the phone rings, and it's my son calling me. And what was interesting was, it was something he rarely did. Of course, he was in his 20s. So he says to me, "Hi, Mom, how are you?" I said, "Fine, and you?" He says, "I'm just fine. But I called to assure you that I am perfectly fine." Because when you see a picture of my car, you're not going to believe that I am alive. A little while ago, Mom, I was in an accident. Another driver hit me square on the driver's side door. I was pushed totally over into the passenger side. The driver's side was crushed. It's no longer there. But Mom, I'm fine. Really, I'm fine. I'm fine. And we talked for a bit. I hung up. Went home a little early. Saw the pictures. That side of the car was gone. My son was 6'5". He's a big guy. But my son was perfectly fine. There was not a scratch on him. My prayer that day was for the well-being of my son, and I guess for my own well-being as well. And I was able to manage my feelings of fear and anxiety and panic with prayer. And so I remembered the one lesson. I don't always remember it, but that day I remembered it in proper timing. In times of trouble, stop, drop, and pray. And know that health and healing and harmony are here right now, regardless of outside appearances. Know that both of us, you and I, all of us can manifest health, harmony, and healing right now. And I can manifest them in days to come. And here's the other thing. Guidance is always available. So be listening. It's all around you. It may not come in as dramatic ways as that one came to me. And thank goodness that doesn't happen hardly at all to me. But guidance is always there. Just pay attention. It'll show up. So my practice and my ability to use prayer served me well that week. And will serve you well. Today, tomorrow, and days to come. Our next area is to talk about connection. You know, we're reminded today that we are not alone in difficult times. However, I think that there are a lot of people who are shut in their homes who are feeling very alone. And sometimes I may be one of those, and you might be one of those. But we have a wonderful opportunity to remember the truth. I think we have to be very, very aware that people who are sheltering in place are dealing with extraordinary feelings of isolation and loneliness. And we need to keep them in our prayers and in the ways that we can connect, that we connect in a way that's soothing to the heart, that is a reminder of the profound truth that it's truly impossible to be alone. In Myrtle Fillmore's book, which has become one of my favorites, The Healing Letters, she corresponded with literally thousands of people. All her letters were archived, and they are truly amazing. And even though it's well over 100 years that she wrote those letters, they're still as relevant today as they are when she wrote them, which I find absolutely amazing and extremely touching. And in those letters, she reminds us that the very real presence of God is within. And in this, she is perfectly and precisely penetrating this fear, isolation, and loneliness, which even under normal circumstances can crop up at different times. She also reminds us that we have ready access to the divine qualities of God. And therefore, she is reminding us of the power that we have, the power that flows through us. Imagine the people over 100 years ago receiving her letters and these clear, penetrating messages of, you are not alone. God is within you, and you have access to God qualities. So I'm going to share with you Myrtle's quote about understanding the gifts that are at hand. God is in us as the very life and substance that we use. And our use of God's gift increases our ability to use and direct them. God is life. We make that life into living. God is love. We make divine love into loving. God is substance. We take the substantial reality and bring it in through the manifest world. God is wisdom. And we claim oneness with divine wisdom, and it expresses through us as wise thoughts and decisions and actions. The light of life that glows from the heart and face, and yes, every cell of the body. The next area is expansion. Now, I had a fascinating experience that happened very early in my life, and it truly changed me. And the odds of my experiencing this are extraordinary. So let me tell you a little bit about who I was at 9 years old. I lived in a tiny little town in the southern tier of New York, right on the Pennsylvania border, in a town of 15,000 people. I went to a Catholic school, tiny little school, and I lived a very sheltered life, very sheltered. My parents both worked full-time jobs. It was pretty much a tall order, but they handled the basics of life to feed us well, to get us educated, and to clothe us. They were straightforward Midwesterners, and I assure you there were no complicated discussions around our dinner table. In this sheltered life of mine, I lived in a town with what I call no diversity, none whatsoever. I knew there was a Polish church. I knew there was an Italian church. And, and that was the extent of the diversity. That was the extent of it. I had no idea about the problems of the world. In fact, my education was predicated on keeping the problems of the world from us. And those of you that are in my cohort group may have had similar experiences early on. But you see, somehow in this very protected cocoon, I heard about somebody that was doing good things in the world to make life better for people. How I heard is a mystery to me, because we had only just gotten television. So I don't know, but I was listening. So I sat down one day to write a letter to this person, telling him that I appreciated what he was doing to make the world a better place. And somehow I solved the issue of paper. That wouldn't have been too hard to solve, but I had to get a stamp. I had to find an address. So all this came together somehow. You see, we were just learning letter writing in school, so I knew how to do it. And it was all about doing it right, of course. So several weeks later, I received a letter that was typed on an old upright typewriter. And there were several little typos that had been erased and then clipped over to make it read nicely. You see, there was no whiteout in those days. And this is the letter. Dear Patricia, it is always wonderful to hear from young people who take an interest in what is happening in the world today. Patricia, please stay in school and get a good education. Learn as much as you can. Your education will open many doors. Obey your parents and know that your home and your education are the best preparation for you to contribute to the bright day of tomorrow. The world belongs to you and your generation. You will be able to create a new and better world. Sincerely, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. This was 7 years before Reverend King appeared on the cover of Time magazine. In this letter, you see, I had never received a personal letter before in my life. This was the first letter I ever received. He made a personal connection with me. And what happened was, without understanding the complexity of the world, I became one of his. All I knew, he wrote me my first letter. I read it over and over again. I was one of his. Now, after my high school, I started my nursing career. And this letter stayed in my heart in ways that I can only say they just shifted who I was. And I made a deliberate decision to use my time in my career with each person that I connected with to make it a heart-to-heart connection. I encountered a lot of clients in my life. I had a lot of heart-to-heart connections. And while it may sound like a lot of giving, it wasn't. It was a lot of receiving. It was a lot of listening with a lot of hearing, and boy, could we use a lot more of that today. A couple of years ago, I was asked to give the commencement address at my alma mater, St. Joseph's College of Nursing. I shared this story with the graduates and urged them that whatever specialty they chose, that they create a heart-to-heart connection with everyone they served, and to do this wherever they went. I informed them, based on real experience, that the heart-to-heart connection is the key in any healing. And also, while you're at it, let them know that they are one of yours. I urged them in their lifetime to widen their circle of acquaintances, which I had tried very, very hard to do, and I continue to try, to expand my circle of beloveds. I've traveled widely, not as much as I'd like, but I have been to most countries in Europe, some in Africa, and some in South America. My work largely involved travel, and I traveled most of the prior 13 years prior to my retirement to different places in the United States. I literally was not home during that time, which is why I think I've been married 45 years. It lasted a lot better because there was a lot of absence making the heart grow fonder. So I've had the chance to go places under circumstances that I never dreamt of. For one, I was chosen to be a UN representative overseeing the elections in El Salvador during a very contentious election. I was invited to go back. I was there for the presidential inauguration as well. I've been a lot of places under some slightly miraculous circumstances. And everywhere I go, I try to remember that this is part of my expanding my circle so that the circle includes more and more. I get to say more and more, you are mine, you are mine, you are mine. And my hope is that I live long enough and have enough experiences that there's nobody outside the circle. That's my goal. So I am here to say, please remember inner peace, please remember connection, and please remember to expand your circle. I conclude by saying, there is only one, and it resides within me. I am made of it. All health and all well-being start with the knowledge, backed by the conviction and belief that there is one life. That life is perfect. That life is my life right now. It is the complete and whole pattern of perfection. I accept without reservation that it is a spiritual reality of my being. It is only source. It is only source that is the cause of every perfect action and every function in my body and all things that happen around me. It alone heals, and it alone makes me and the world whole. Regardless of what the condition may be, it knows what to do. It knows how to do it, and it knows when to do it. My prayer today for myself is that I listen carefully to others. I connect heart to heart. I know that they are all, without exception, one of mine. For that is what the one says. All one of mine. I pondered these ideas this week. I know that I am calm, poised, and confident. Tension and fear are erased. I manage my thoughts wisely. I'm surrounded by the perfect light, and I live in eternal calm. I am in the sea of untroubled waters. I have inner peace. I have inner connection. I have expansion. I live in the heavenly flow filled with God's abundant life. And so it is. Amen. And now it is time for our offertory. And I remember that I am truly prosperous because the one has given me everything that I need. This is our opportunity to support our unity community, our church home. And with our services online, you have two easy ways to make your Sunday offering. You can mail a check to 401 East Arrowwood Road in Charlotte, 29217, 28217, or you can simply use your phone or computer and go to unityofcharlotte.org, which is what I've started to do. And it's so easy. It's wonderful. So click on the donate link. It's secure. It's a convenient way to keep your support flowing and your church growing. So I invite you to hold in your heart and in your hand your gifts, our many gifts to the world today and to Unity of Charlotte. And join with me in the prosperity blessing. Joyously, I give this gift, knowing that the divine presence blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Join me in saying the prayer of protection. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Thank you for being with us today. Have a wonderful week.